the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Sedinam Ationu Tamaklo, former Maslux CEO under John Dramani Mahama na NPP amanyoko ne ba betena akonya so e na won hwehwem ebede de pefe se sasika under John Dramani Mahama yede maami se onfa koma one a ewo market ye bodwa ene one a oye small enterprise no one enso emfambie one business mu no maami agi sika no ene office ka ni nyina 80 million Ghana cedis a or the batitis kanima almost 800 billion enya asem koto maami etimi afa sika nyina eno and so Emma NPP amanyuku e by one etabiri no e de no ekokopie mu e wo court na through court processing no and maami e de krata e bre court no say ne hododo ne kakra enti opese okohwe ne ho yare e wo amanone e na enu gina so e manipa mienu kra e begina mu e di adanse sa ampa ne ho mfa no ales mood enom ne one akekeke ka ho e ba begina mu e ma no maami age sa okoko piemu the United States of America mine o kasa de maame no entimi amabio eno enam so ma court bo na wa mentie to aso edi asem no after asem no eba no awieye no na one na countered ba ko e de won ekoko gina adaka mu di asem na bua ba mo ye maame 10 years mine o kasa e wose oba na oba be serve na accountant nso enya 5 years mine o kasa de ono de wa hyase ocha na Ghana for worried bebre say na maami akwakopie mu the United States of America motimi ejeli no 10 years he ene say otena ha until say 10 years ne be so anampo say o ma me pie mu Ghana kra e ma me serve on center not knowing say attorney general eguso fase aye hu adwuma nyina wie me no ka say de ejabo eja enya ababedu di obi abisa ho asem no afei die enya ababetodwa yenko tie.
Yes, Sedinam Temaklo. So now you know it, Maslow boss and the previous NDC regime.
That's right.
The facts about him. Quite fast so a bo chrono. Mini na misenka chrono de ye bo an me mana kitimbo chrono pa. Mu oba obo chrono sa no ni hu. Enu nti na ye case no judge ne hwe no so yo. Nipa mi na de mo court. Accountant a obo no ma ye de no court no. Ono de court so hwe ni role play no. Enya de so kese nti o ma no 5 years. Zia me no ka say o prison. Ma me na emra ye di asem no na o ma lawyer for the chat ba court say on tiapo. Nti court man kwan no kwa ma no ne no hwe no yare. Mra ma kwan. Court man kwan.
And you said the name the krata by. Okay.
And okoye. Dre ye hwe nanim so obesen aba. Ye twen no. Ya dia oba. Eno na ema igina so ka say ye ntwen no.
You be dia.
Na makwas bit di asem abra oni ho. Ya idi asem no. Ye di wie yen so no. Zaga na fo ye twen say na de na ye afa ho. Me nua na me come afidie so. This the first time I'm making it public.
Okay.
Say Sedinam Temaklo. Ya locate baby a ote in the US.
Okay.
Before CBD asem na wie no of US e call London. Osan be remu. The same no ka say ya silly. Sa kwantu pa de obi free US there. What be free US enko baby abiem. So now baby ote sabi okoto ball akra gu a ye monitor no. Because ya ne the our counterparts from US. Ya sabi en krata nyina awie. The aka say person obi free. Sa by for the baha e was a legal process. You do a chiri kakra. Ya me gidi say nima yansi a
e be extradite
na ba Ghana na fi wako prison akosom.
Ntinya de a otima fa ne ho adi sa.
Dabi. E bi say na me gidi say na o wadwi mi say e di asem wie no say kopa between adwane from the US. Because na America no oko UK. No be remu. Don't you say you monitor. So now every airport be when I use obestep no the betch no
ti se waka US ba mo ye nkrata edi ewie pay a America ban make just say bra ko okay na some money America was extradition treaty
me ya ye enema ni nyina awie the akaye only say ya de mra between activity on last side no ewie omo wie pe maame no oba Ghana enti omo munim no ya bu say bi obi butie no omo kan che no say ade step o take bia no kania edane so it will be an interest
so no abeba
surrender.
That's all chena oba mo beti court no beti me de aka ho ana amfie no.
Oh yeah, the court then for because oba be starting the sentence.
Until ada obedu or that prison it start from day one.
Exactly.
Enquire say bia after 2 years in the 2 years ago.
Baby, because it's a career sad and dan kai vejo with me aduane
I come 1 year no aba.
No. But when him said there's this argument, yeah, some lawyers made some time ago, but already long year. I want understanding. Since it say Ada ya do be prison no sada na wo sha ase.
Wo share sentence
ase. Enti say no on sha ase. Na a lesson to ya adwuma e wa ban so ye. Papa na so dem no ya accountant no. Say oh share de onya firi mu a. Anya de so bi asa.
O de to de
na mum nkrata na o no prepare invoice no ma no. The man ya pa ne say one ma obi loan as an institution. Some from microfinance in Ashanti region. Omoje unya che no se amohwe no se o check odi amaye no it means say interest da oni yentimi entu enti the check no bro na me say dem fa check no mbre me mon cash
monye ni sika
mfa cash engu Ghana must go bag him
en famrel
en question filling station bi won kran oji sika na pa so amafo di bone na bone amafo di no ebi mu adwene say ombedi bone okodam kra ba na ibuti unyaye no
oba bedi
ye mu bi se nyama ye nkwa ene ahoden na se Selangana fo e di tumi e mayen na wa ban mu a megiri se mama na japade bia o bia no e wo se no so no
mo de mon saka
to so number 2 nipa o mugina bail e ma no Mr. Mood not one of them omo ya about 2 of them omo gina 5 million Ghana cedis omo so I started pursue omo sense kale so omo ye den
omo tua
and omo tua ma ye free the Ghana for sika e ko fa nchen ma amanfo di go mboto mu no ya de ya so ye no ye guso a ye di betimi aye se be ya Ghana because baby ye mu be free ko fe baby bi nsu bi mu nom obi pay just 20,000 betimi aye ball mechanism ball very good one by one person on quite with 80 million Ghana cedis
80 million 800 billion kanisiga
yes what free and something else you know media more so in the end they say what did I issue now we are monitoring her enche over Ghana
matter in particular the first time I reviewed the documents personally when the copies were made for us to have a look at it by the Attorney General and to have a conference to discuss the details, I actually cringed. I couldn't believe it. The facts were like they were concocted, to be very honest with you. The facts were like they were concocted. Because this was not just stealing, but as to borrow a word from Dog, naked thievery. You know, in one of the charges, Samson, do you know what happened? The boss of Maslock decided to give a loan to a rural bank. And they did not even reach any agreement. Yet the money was transferred to the rural bank. When the money got to the account of the rural bank, the people then asked, okay, so what is the interest rate of the money you have sent to us? Imagine something that you should have done earlier was not even done. Then the interest rate was then quoted by Sedinam. When the interest rate was quoted, the rural bank management said, look, the interest rate you have quoted, if we pick this money, we cannot make any money out of it, so we want to return it to you. What do? Good corporate practice. You write to them and give your account, Maslock account. Then they pay the money directly into the account and produce receipt for accountability purposes. You know what she said? She directed them to cash the money and bring it to Accra. And then they cashed the money in a Ghana must go, carried it to Accra. They met at Bachona filling station, Total filling station, and the money was packed into her boot and she drove away. And that ended it. She's been convicted of that particular charge.
Yeah. So
then the second one.
Yes.
I'm giving you, I'm just itemizing them because I have the facts. I don't need to even read anything.
Yeah.
The second one, they were supposed to do some nationwide sensitization workshops for some category of persons with respect to matters like this. The money was about 2 million Ghana cedis. Less than 5% was used for the intended purpose. The rest was shared. As if it was ground nuts. Look, there was a fire disaster in one of the markets. Some money was allocated to help the victims. Just a little percentage of it was used. The rest, they shared it. There were some phones they had to buy. One on the market, 100 cedis. The prices they quoted, 400 each. Clearly, some vehicles were procured. In fact, those vehicles even delayed the trial because we had finished all the charges and then we bumped on a report which indicated that vehicles had been bought, some of them at thrice the market price. Some at thrice the market price. Some at twice the market price. We had to amend our charges to include all these. And remember that they were found guilty of over 70 charges. All of them.
78.
Yes. In fact, it is one of the most nauseating cases I have come across in legal prosecution. Because the act of impunity, naked thievery and robbery perpetuated by them was frightening. And you see, when the judgment was read, I posted something on my social media handle. I indicated that it was not a moment for anybody to celebrate. It was not a moment for anybody to be joyous, but for us all to have a sober reflection.
In fact, Tua Yeboah
Yes.
has been saying, all those in office now, take a cue.
That's what I'm just coming to say. You see, you have to be very, very careful. Day of accountability will come. And when it comes, you will be in that dock alone. And the wheels of justice may grind slowly, but in the end, when the pronouncement is made and you are taken away to Nsawam, you would come to the realization that acts of impunity cannot go unpunished and go forever. Something, just to conclude on this, if you look at the acts, and if you look at the conduct of even the principal person, which even made Justice Sefia Sewa very angry. I mean, that the state didn't take enough steps or action to be able to have her in Ghana to face trial. Because clearly, whatever she did it in order to evade conviction. That was why they had to try her in absentia in line with the constitutional principle and dictate. But I'm saying this again, that those in office now ought to take a clue from this. And this is the third time, and all those cases passed through my hand anyway, as Deputy Attorney General in charge of criminal prosecution. This is the third case of a very nauseating nature. The first one was NCA. At a point in time, some money was shared like groundnuts, and they secured conviction. Then this one. And the third one, you remember, venture capital. You remember venture capital? In that particular case, they had to take advantage of Section 35 of the Courts Act. And then they did a plea bargain. They were convicted, and then they went ahead to pay. If you look at a combination of these cases and the convictions that have been secured, and then at least the amounts of money involved and etc., a lot would have been saved to this nation. But as I have stated time and again, those in office now ought to take a clue from this. And I thank my brother Tua Yeboah for the statement he has made. They have to take a cue. Because it is very, very, very juicy.
Initially, the court,
dip your hand in there and fetch.
Initially, the court, there were people who were very critical about the court, that it was not being sympathetic, she was not well, she needed bail to be able, she needed the opportunity to travel, take care of herself. And this was like a media trial. And eventually the court had to succumb and say, well, go and take care of yourself and come. And she goes, she doesn't come.
She doesn't come.
The question Ghanaians are asking now is this judgment as empty as the paper?
Well, something, remember that even at the initial stages, I thought that there was going to be another step that would have been taken, an international collaboration to get her brought back for face justice.
We're told
but if you try that, you know, most of the countries up there, they will think there is political persecution, and so they will not allow it. They will even extradite the person. But now that we have secured conviction, the person is a convict.
Right.
And you have to come and serve your sentence. So what they now need to do is to collaborate with the U.S. authorities and the anti-corruption agencies there to ensure that the person is extradited to come and serve the terms. But something, I said this in London, and I want to say it today. Sometimes out there, when we go, we are so much bastard. We went for economic crimes conference in Jesus College in the UK.
Be very brief about that.
And it was some kind of unanimous thing by our friends from the West that we are just a group of criminals up here. And I stood up there and I made a very forceful point. And I talked about the fact that sometimes millions of dollars from Africa, we cut it to those countries. They receive the money. They know very well that we are incapable of getting such monies. They receive it there and later on freeze those accounts and make it their own property. Perhaps some of them are more criminal even than those that are accusing them.
Right.
So I am just in conclusion saying that what the fate of Sedinam, Tamaklo, and other persons be a guide to all public office holders that one day accountability will knock on your door.
Right. Thank you very much.
Crime.
And thanks to Martin Pebu, Alex Mould is not in jail. He would have been in jail.
Yes, but for Martin Pebu,
he's too surety,
yes.
And then she escaped.
Probably there was some advice. She said, okay, if I go now, the consequences that the civil process will be taken.
Thanks to the case that Martin Pebu mounted, that a person who stands surety should not be put in prison, but rather their property should be chased to liquidate the bail sum. I was trying to put the monies together, and I went to each count. Count one, stealing. That is the 28th of August, 2014, 500,000. She stole the money. Count two, stealing. 13th April, 2016, 84,000. She stole it. Count three, stealing. 21st of April, 2016, 73,500. Count four, stealing. 1st June 2016, 126,000. Count 5, conspiracy to steal, stealing. 16th June 2016, 114,000. Count 6, stealing. 16th June 2016, 114,000. And some of the amount, huge, 228,000, 158,000, 162,000, 136,000. I want to give you an idea how the court came by the eventual total amount. They were not conjured from the skies. They are monies that were in fact stolen. 3.19 million while they were at Maslock, and then they caused a loss of 1.797 million financial loss. They also made an authorized commitment resulting in financial obligations to the government to the tune of 61.47 million. Vice Azim. Hello, Vice Azim.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. So we have come to the end of the prosecution, but getting the money is going to be another issue. What do you say from your end?
Well, for me, I think that when you are accused of or found guilty of causing financial loss to the state, the first thing should be the recovery of the money. As for sending the person to jail, it should be a second factor. That is penalizing the person for the crime. But the state should be interested in getting the money back, either in cash or in properties that the fellow has acquired over the years. Otherwise, we'll just waste our time, send the person to jail, the state will take care of the person in jail, then he or she will release, come out and go and enjoy the booty. So for me, the priority should be recovering the money, retrieving the money that has been illegally taken. And then, of course, the fellow has committed a crime by illegally taking the money. You can now go ahead to jail the person. If we don't do that, I think we are not making a headway. Of course, let's say that it's a good thing that this thing has happened. It should deter others from getting involved in that type of thing. But some people bail the lady. They should be called. Otherwise, the lady can just get lost in the US.